there are probably many people who would say, no, I'm not a hardline modernist. I don't see any contradiction between being a hardline modernist and actually having emotion in your music. My music is very much to do with things barely experienced and transmitted through the medium of music. I was on a walking holiday in the Lake District with two friends. One of my friends had said on the Ordnance Survey map that we were going to cross the path of a Roman road. And to my right, where the map said there should be this Roman road, I could see this Roman road. I could see indentation in the grass, and it just went to the horizon. And I just thought of that, and I thought of the different ways that what must have one time been a very busy road through that part of the Lake District, now is just this vaguely discernible indentation in the grass. And I thought it would be possible to create a piece with various levels of activity that would somehow bring to mind the different states of being of that path, of that way. By 2005, I think it was when I wrote Traces C, the memory of the original road had become very different. So I was thinking not so much in terms of a memory, but also the way that memory transforms. Each of the Traces pieces is looking at that original memory from a different point of view, a different angle. A lot of my music is to do with things that are not quite perceived. You know, they're not concrete, they're sort of barely perceived. I'm not one of these guys who has to be up at the composing desk at 8 in the morning and then finishes at lunchtime and then has a boiled egg or something and then, you know, this kind of, I'm not that kind of composer. You know, a lot of people get quite upset about this New Complexity label. I think partly because it is it has been used as a sort of rather cheap marketing tool. As far as I'm concerned, if it aligns me with a group of people whose music I like and admire, then I'm perfectly happy to admit to being a complex composer. Paul Driver, reviewing a concert in which the first performance of the complete Traces cycle was given, wrote, on the evidence of the piano music, I am a new complexity neo-romantic. And that's a label I'm more than happy to admit to. I like being a new complexity neo-romantic. Because that, as I say, that aligns me with a particular genre or movement in the music of today, and it also takes me out of it. So I like that on two accounts. I'm somebody who's quite happy to admit to suffering from the syndrome of the white boy I'm a North London white boy who enjoys blues and jazz. Michael Rosen was talking about this on the radio recently, so it's obviously a recognised condition. Blues music means a lot to me for all kinds of reasons. You know, there's the fact that it's actually very powerful and visceral music, a very beautiful music. I like the idea of, you know, the cyclic thing that it brings with it. You know, you're just going round a series of 12 bars with the same chord sequence. You know, cyclicism is something that's become, is that a word, cyclicism?
It should be.
Being cyclic is a condition that my music has taken on a lot more recently. You know, once upon a time I think it was sort of very much going from point A to point B. Now it's much more cyclical. my guitar piece uses a lot of techniques which tend to obfuscate, muffle, change the guitar sound so that it has become this very fragile surface, which is akin, I like to think, to the very fragile surface of this music. And, you know, we're reaching out from our historical perspective to this music, you know, which we don't understand, we can't appreciate 100%. You know, because I'm a white boy from North London, so how can I fully understand this music? It's a little bit to me, it's like when I remember seeing Kabuki in London, you know, when I was a teenager, and of course I don't speak a word of Japanese, but the acting, the gestures, the obviously expression of the emotions, you know, this meant a lot to me. And I think with the blues, you know, you're reaching out and touching something beautiful and intangible, it strikes me. And I want to somehow make that a part of my own work. Obviously I've reached this age now. I can't give up composing in favour of recaling chairs or something like this, or learning Japanese. You know, the impetus to compose that struck me when I was in my mid-teens, it's still there. I can't give it up. You know, I've long passed the point of no return. I don't know if you know the works of Joris Carl Huysmans. Huysmans' probably best known novel is called Erber, Against Nature is the title of the English translation. And Erber is the story of a French, well, he's a wealthy, you know, he's a rich man, who basically falls out of love with the direct experience of life. He finds it too gross and crass. And he begins to build this life of almost a monastic life, in which he's experiencing things vicariously. Now, one of the things he's very interested in is Latin literature. And he doesn't enjoy people like Virgil and Cicero. You know, he thinks they're pretty tedious and overrated. What he really likes are those late Latin writers who were writing at a time when, you know, the barbarians were just about ready to come across the border and probably stick a spear into any person they saw. You know, they would have no respect for somebody who was sort of sitting there writing Latin hexameters. So that's the kind of Latin he's interested in. In a sense, you know, I feel very much like one of those Latin writers, you know, where the barbarians are at the border and here we are still, you know, penning our Latin hexameters.